What's up, everyone? Man, do we have a fun weekend of NFL football coming up. Week 14 is full of exciting matchups with plenty of better-friendly games for us to take advantage of. Fireside Bets has been hot over the last month with our NFL best bets, so today we're going to identify the best props of Week 14, break down the stats, trends, and logic behind each bet, and show you why we think these are good bets to place for Week 14. Let's waste no more time and dive right in. Alright, the first game that we're looking at this weekend is the Tank Bowl between the New Orleans Saints and New York Giants. The Giants are a shit show. On Thanksgiving last week, they got shredded on the ground once again, allowing Rico Dowdle to rush for a career-high 112 rushing yards. Over the past 5 weeks, the Giants defense is allowing 156.6 rushing yards per game and 7 rushing touchdowns. And that was with all-pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence in the lineup. The Giants just placed Lawrence on injured reserve this week, taking their bad defense, making it unimaginably worse. On top of that, starting linebacker Bobby Okereke is not expected to play this week, making the Giants defense an absolute shit show. Alvin Kamara should feast in this game against a bad run defense, missing its best run defenders. Take advantage of the Giants defense as it spirals out of control and take Alvin Kamara over 82.5 rushing yards from -114 on FanDuel or over 78.5 rushing yards at -120 on BetMGM. It's a high line to reach, but this looks like it will be a bloodbath against the Giants team that has yet to win a game at home this season. Kamara could easily smash this line and put up ridiculous numbers this weekend. Next up, let's bank on Calvin Ridley in his revenge game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have the worst ranked pass defense in the NFL this season, surrendering 273.3 yards per game through the air. With this being a revenge game for Calvin Ridley, we like this bet. Revenge games have been super profitable this season. Ridley is averaging 56.6 yards per game this season, but has gone for over 60 in 4 of his last 6 games, which is why we like him at over 60 at -140 on FanDuel. His consensus line, though, is 65.5 at -115, but we're going to play it safe and bank on Ridley going for over 60 in this one with some pretty decent odds anyway. A wide receiver has cleared this line against the Jaguars in 4 of the last 5 games. Good chance Ridley puts up more than 60 against a terrible Jacksonville secondary. The next bet that we like is Kyren Williams over 66.5 rushing yards at -114 on FanDuel as he prepares to face the Buffalo Bills. Kyren Williams has hit this line in 9 of 12 games this season and is facing a Buffalo Bills defense that has struggled against the run. FanDuel has his rushing line at 66.5 yards at -114, while the other books have him at -115 for 69.5 yards. So take it on FanDuel. This presents excellent value on FanDuel, which makes us like this bet even more. Next, let's see if Brock Bowers can keep his hot streak going. The rookie tight end has been spectacular this season and has a favorable matchup. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers allow the 3rd most yards per game to tight ends with 67. Bowers had a dominant performance against the Kansas City Chiefs last week and is likely to get fed the rock once again this weekend against a struggling Buccaneers defense. With Bowers averaging 73.7 yards per game in his elite rookie season, we like him to clear the line of over 70 receiving yards at -142 on FanDuel. This bet is another one where we really like the matchup with George Pickens over 71.5 receiving yards at -113 on FanDuel. We like George Pickens' receiving line this week as he gets ready to go off against a Cleveland Browns team that allowed 2 wide receivers to go for over 100 yards against them in last week's shootout against the Denver Broncos. Pickens did miss this line in the Steelers' last contest with the Browns. However, the 2 teams were practically playing in a blizzard with harsh conditions in Cleveland. The conditions should be more favorable for a passing attack this weekend, which should lead to high volume of targets for Pickens, who has cleared this line in 5 of his last 6 games. Furthermore, the Browns defense has had a wide receiver clear this line against them in 6 straight weeks. This is a dream matchup for George Pickens. Take advantage of it with a great line at -113. We love those best bets for this weekend, but let's take a look at a couple of parlays that we think could cash this weekend as well. For the first parlay, we're going to go ahead and take 2 high probability lines to double up our money. The first line is going to be Brock Bowers over 60 receiving yards at -230, parlayed with Baker Mayfield over 225 passing yards at -180. Parlaying these 2 lines together gives us a +120 parlay. We like Bowers over 70 as a straight bet, so watering it down to 60 plus gives us a strong chance of cashing. He has gone over 60 in 6 games this season, and the Buccaneers are letting up the 3rd most yards to tight ends at 67 yards per game. Baker has gone over 225 yards 7 times this season, and quarterbacks have cleared this line against the Raiders in 6 straight games. So we do like this bet at +120, think it's got a high chance of cashing. For parlay number 2, we're reaching high, juicing a couple of lines to place a bet with a low total of legs, but a high total of odds that would win us some serious cash cash if it hits. For this plus 858 parlay, we're taking George Pickens over 100 receiving yards at plus 235, parlayed with Alvin Kamara over 100 rushing yards at plus 186. The Browns are letting up 100-yard receivers left and right. The Giants are letting up 100-yard rushers every single week. Here we have an excellent matchup with a high-volume wideout going against Cleveland and an elite rusher going against New York. Juicing their lines and betting on these favorable matchups is an exciting way to place a simple two-leg bet for major cash. If these two lines hit, we'll cash a plus 858 parlay, which I think is far more likely than a 6-leg bet for similar odds cashing this weekend. So let's see if we can hit this bonanza. This should be a really fun weekend to bet on, and we're super excited to hopefully cash some of these best bets. Stay tuned for our upcoming plays and let us know down below if you're tailing any of these lines or our parlays. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Remember, always bet responsibly and never outside of your means. Best of luck on your bets, and we'll catch you all in the next one.